What's up, guys? My name is Miles.
And my name is Fez.
And this is The Commodity, and today we're reacting to how Malaysia Airlines shaped Asian aviation. That was actually kind of tough to say.
How Malaysia Airlines shaped Asian aviation.
I don't know why it felt
That
so
is
hard
that
for me
that's
to
actually
say.
that is a tongue twister for sure.
Yeah. This video was requested by, I just had it up, Alep. Thank you so much. I think this is your first recommendation, so we truly appreciate it. If you have any more, you know where to find us and you know where to throw them. Guys, before we hop into this video, if you would, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. It truly helps us out in getting this out to more people. Also, if you would, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. That way you guys can stay informed on our future videos. And if you'd like to help support the channel even more, go ahead and click the join button down below. So
Let's check it out.
yeah, let's check it out. We'll probably be on Malaysia Airlines in a few months.
Yeah, I mean we're getting to some serious.
If you guys haven't seen our reaction video to the challenges that we'll be doing, you need to go back and check that out.
It's getting real.
It's getting real.
I'm so excited.
The proud carrier of Malaysia, Malaysia Airlines, is an airline which is shrouded in mystery. With the disappearance of MH370, the whole world has focused their attention on the national carrier and are somewhat skeptical of their abilities. They've seen more than their fair share of bad luck in recent years, but their history starts with a humble beginning. Now, the airline was founded all the way back in 1937, called the VPN Air Service. They started operating services between Singapore, Kuala Lumpur and Penang with scheduled passengers and also mail services. The schedule consisted of only 2 to 3 weekly flights around Malaysia using 2 De Havilland Dragon aircraft. During this time, the Second World War was about to begin, but unsurprisingly, the service wasn't seized with the Japanese occupation of Malaysia and Singapore during the Second World War. Now, after the World War, however, there was a new start with a partnership between the States Company and Imperial Airways. A few other British Commonwealth Airlines provided technical assistance, and by 1955, Malayan Airlines had joined the International Air Transport Association, and it had a small fleet of Douglas DC-3s.
So it didn't take them
Later,
very
these
long.
were extended to aircraft such as the
Look at
Douglas
the plane,
DC-4s,
dude. They
the
all
Vickers
got like an
Viscount,
animal
and
on
also
it.
the
Yeah, that's
Lockheed
dope.
L1049. Now, by 1960, the airline became a state-run airline, and it became a public listed company. Malaysia Airlines was firmly placed in the Federation of Malaysia, and it changed their name from Malayan Airlines to Malaysia Airlines. In 1966, with Singapore breaking away, the airline changed again to Malaysia-Singapore Airlines, although this was always a troubled partnership. Despite this, however, they embraced the jet age and was one of the first few airlines to order aircraft such as the Boeing 707s and also the 737s.
It's like a short, fat plane.
Yeah, like a bumblebee. How it's not supposed to be able to fly. Its proportions aren't right.
Many attempts were made for the two airlines to coincide peacefully. However, just 6 years later, the two airlines decided to part ways. Singapore Airlines took the entire fleet of the Boeing 707s and 5 Boeing 737s, as well as the Malaysia-Singapore Airlines headquarters, which was located in Singapore. This left Malaysia Airlines with a rump of the airline, and instead of using the initials of MSA, they changed them to MAS. So fast forward a few years and the airline was gradually growing. They flew domestic routes within Malaysia, but they needed to expand. And by 1976, they bought the DC-10 and began flying to London.
I've never flown. I've never been up close to a big commercial airplane. And it's just so, like, mesmerizing at the thought of something that huge
Can fly.
can fly.
Yeah, and there's no reason that they should be able to.
Right. It's just...
That's the craziest part. Like, I think it's helicopters that are like even logic doesn't back it up. Like, physics doesn't back it up.
Right.
Like, it's a weird thing.
Flights later included Amsterdam, Paris and Frankfurt. Now, their growth increased exponentially during the 1980s when they expanded to Australia and the US. But their biggest milestone came in 1993 when they purchased their first Boeing 747. The entire nation was proud of this achievement and they launched services to South America. However, these flights didn't last too long due to the decrease in demand. So we're coming closer to the year 2000, and the financial crisis occurs in Asia. Now this was ill-timed because it was a great period of growth for the carrier, but this is also when it started to go downhill for the airline. Apparently, the carrier boasted of their achievements, but when evidence was asked, none was given. They had too many planes, inefficient route networks, poor customer service, and also a poor load factor. They had to cut many of their unprofitable routes, and they also had to sell a few of their brand new 747 fleets, with Qantas picking up at least 3 of the planes at a bargain price.
So would this be a 2-story airplane?
I don't know if they classify them as 2 stories.
Because these are windows, and then that
but
would be
yeah,
windows.
I mean, they classify. I think they're called jumbo jets, to where they have multiple floors. But yeah, but I don't think they call them dual floor or 2-story.
Like,
or
that's
whatever.
insane.
Yeah. Well, there's even bigger than that. There are some ridiculously big
Like,
planes.
this is one person.
Yeah,
It's
to put it in
insane.
perspective, but they don't really use even that to truly see a lot of stuff. Like they use it for reference more than actual like viewing.
Oh yeah, well obviously at that speed,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
not a
yeah,
whole lot
yeah,
of reaction
yeah.
you can do.
But I mean, like even while they're on the runway or getting to certain situations, a lot of it still is very hard to view from it.
Right.
After that came a series of incidents which inevitably would hurt the airline. In the year 2000, the airline retired a brand new Airbus A330 due to a chemical leak which made the plane unworthy. In 2003, there were several incidents where aircraft were damaged and vandalized at Kuala Lumpur Airport. There were also incidents involving snapped cables which made flights very unsafe. After that came MH17.
That seems so like, well, I say that, but it's a sad story, but it's still kind of a crazy yet kind of cool story. And I say that kind of like lightheartedly. There was a guy that he was I believe a luggage person or something like that. And unfortunately he was not happy with his life and he wanted to commit suicide. But he stole like a 747 or something of that size, like a big giant jumbo jet. And he was doing like he stole it, took it off. And he was doing like air maneuvers and all this kind of stuff. And I believe like some U.S. fighter jets, Air Force jets, intercepted him and was like, "You need to land it," blah blah blah. And he's like, "I don't think I want to do that." He's like, "I'm like," he was pretty open about. He was like, "I'm just kind of having fun," and he's like, "I don't want to hurt anybody," like that. That was his whole thing. Like, and he did kill himself, but he didn't hurt anybody else.
Right.
I mean, obviously there was insurance on the plane. So outside of himself, he truly didn't harm any individual person, which is still sad. But he even the fighter pilots were like interviewed and they were like, it's impressive that, and he learned by video games.
Yeah.
They were like, it's insane what that kid was able, or guy, I don't even know, was able to do in a full-size jumbo jet type situation. Right. They were like, it was impressive. When you can get a U.S. Air Force personnel to say that,
right,
it's impressive. So, I don't know why.
Yeah, where was that going?
I don't know. But I have no idea. I'm sure it was something off from the, like...
It was talking about vandalism on the airplane.
Oh, yeah. And then yeah,
cutting.
so I was like, how does anybody get in there to vandalize? Because I'm thinking of, I'll go back to where we were, because I'm thinking of, the U.S. Because after 9/11, I mean, it is unless you do get a job and then you work your way through and then you have this like a horrific idea of being like bad, I guess, at that level. But I don't know how you would get into a airport to vandalize a jet, you know what I mean? So
then after that came MH370. So since 1977, they've had around 20 minor incidents that have been recorded by the air industry officials, along with 3 fatal crashes. But it's not all doom and gloom for the airline. They've executed a 5-year recovery plan to turn the airline around. This includes retraining their cabin crews, the ground staff, the flight crew and many more. and for those who decided to stay and serve the airline, cuts on benefits and pay also followed. A rebranding was also discussed, but they decided to stick with what they already have. But the biggest decision that they made, which is also a great one, was to replace the A380s with smaller and more efficient planes. They already have 6 of the A350s in their fleet, and it's a great choice due to the commonality between the A350 and the A330 fleet. They've also started to launch new routes in their network, improve their customer service, and try to remove the negative image associated with the airline due to incidents from the past. Now, it will most definitely take them time for them to get where they want to be.
The only negative thing that I think of is the plane disappearing. And
Wasn't there a second one that they had an issue with?
yeah, but you can't put that on the airline itself.
Unfortunately, I mean, and it's not so much that people have put it on the airline. It scares people from flying.
Right.
So it's not, I mean, all honesty, after 9/11 happened, I was actually, it was a few years later, I went to Spain, and I got to the point where I had to have a couple drinks before I could get on the plane. Mm-hmm. Because I've flown a million times before that, no issues.
Right.
But that triggered my anxiety. I think that's one of the earlier times that my anxiety really came to fruition and realizing it.
If it's my time, it's my time.
See, and that's not the way I think. I don't want to die, But the thing is, and then it was crazy year too. I was in England, and I was flying back to Spain, and they had found somebody that had liquids. Because this is when they took away liquids off the planes. Mm-hmm. Somebody had found liquids on a flight right before I got on the airplane. It was announced, and they grounded all the planes to go through all the stuff that could be mixed to create a bomb.
Right.
In London, where I was. And I was literally getting on a plane in an hour.
Yeah.
So it was terrifying. So do you contribute that to the airlines? Not at all. But it makes people afraid. It's a domino effect.
Right. It's attached to the name.
All honesty, I believe, I don't think it was the planes that had the issues either. Well, what I understand.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is, if you want to earn the business back. So another short story that relates to trying to earn business back. So there was a shooting in a movie theater in Colorado, mm-hmm. Aurora, Colorado, during a Batman movie. I actually got the opportunity to go to the movies at that theater several times. They had completely redone the audio, the video, the visuals. The seats were phenomenal. Like, they had to do everything in their power to get the business back.
Right. And
they cut the prices down in half. Like, it was like $5 to go see a movie in probably one of the most up-to-date theaters I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And, and the odds of it ever happening again in that theater is next to none. The odds of a plane going down is next to none.
Right.
But statistically it could happen. But to me, for the airlines to kind of get back to where they were, I feel like they would have to spend a lot of money on brand new jets. Mm-hmm. Like brand new planes, which doesn't even mean that it's going to work any better. But in my own personal mindset, I'm terrified because I have severe anxiety. For me to get back on that plane, I'd probably want to see something new.
Right.
So.
And start competing on the same level as Singapore Airlines. But if there's one thing that the industry has taught us, that even the most unlikeliest airline can succeed.
Well, there we go.
That was the worst timing. But I'm just saying, like, for people to get back to a theater, they feel like they have to spend money to do it. Realistically, they shouldn't have to worry about it. I say that wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, that it even had to happen in the first place. But you shouldn't have to, like, the movie theater shouldn't be to blame for the situation. And the airline shouldn't be to blame for the situation, because it wasn't the airline, it was the person. Right. I assume, but nobody knows.
That disappeared with them.
Nobody knows. Obviously, it's all speculation. But it's unlikely that the plane was going this way and then wound up going this way, and it's the plane's fault. You know what I mean?
Could have been hijacked. Doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily have to do
It's
with
all speculation.
the pilot that was with them, or I mean, it's a weird situation.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that it was.
We've had planes disappear. I mean,
have we?
we've had to have had at least one plane disappear.
I don't think we have. Not like major jets, not like airlines.
Right.
But I mean, we've had catastrophic accidents. 9/11. Obviously, we've had airlines that have actually crashed. That's not a like American Air. Like the only airline that I know that hasn't had major fatality is Southwest Airlines, which is based out of here in Dallas Fort Worth. So is American Airlines, to be fair, and they've had a lot of issues. Which is the oldest airline company in the entire world.
Really?
Which is American Airlines, which is based out of DFW, which is kind of cool. But anyways, guys, give us some of your thoughts down. So if you were around during that time, I mean, you're in Malaysia, so that's a much more realistic person to ask. Asking us to be a little bit afraid, yes, I'll be afraid. Would I get on it? Yeah, absolutely. I'd get over it. I'd probably want a couple beers, and I don't drink, but I want to be a little buzzed so I can I just want to get in the plane and fall asleep in that situation.
Right.
So did you hold back after the missing plane, or were you like, it's not really the airline's fault, so let's just get on the plane and go somewhere?
Yeah.
Let us know how you reacted to that. You got anything else you want to add?
Mm-mm.
Sorry, I talked a lot in this one. A lot. So I apologize. I know there's going to be comments down below. Bring them on. I'm okay with it. I've been doing this. We've been doing this for about a year now. So can you believe we're coming up on our true 1 year anniversary? And I will be calling it season 2 whenever the beginning of the year. And I'll probably start
February. The end of January.
Yeah, February is when we really started doing it. But starting New Year's, I'm going to start adding the episode numbers, and I'm going to do like seasons, and we'll do each year's a new season.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually enjoy it because whenever I edit these videos in the savings, it's always episode. Like our last one was episode 420.
Yeah.
Ironically.
430.
430. Sorry. So we've done 430 episodes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see our future videos, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. And if you want to support us directly, hit the join button. And with that being said,
My name is Miles.
my name is Fez.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Out.